Hi guys, how are you all today morning? Good morning. Today we shall continue with our discussion about various verses of Bhagavad Gita. We are discussing chapter 2 of Bhagavad Gita, where Arjuna asks God, how is it that you first say that karma is very important and then you say that jnana yoga is better than karma yoga? Then Lord tells him, there are two ways of self-realization. One is Sankhya and the other is Yoga. Yoga means joining. Joining the body with the soul and the soul back with the super soul. That is yoga. There are several forms of yoga. The main one are karma yoga, the yoga of action; jnana yoga, the yoga of knowledge; dhyana yoga, the yoga of meditation; and bhakti yoga, that is yoga of devotion. Karma yoga starts yoga process and bhakti yoga ends it. In between there are several subcategories. They are Kundalini yoga, Hatha yoga, Tantra yoga, Mantra yoga, Raja yoga, etc. They are only subcategories of the main ones. Especially these subcategories are more in demand during the raising of Kundalini serpent. Now, Lord Krishna advises Arjuna, the soul, better be a yogi. It is better for a living entity to live the life of a yogi because it is a sure, short way to success. Sankhya will confuse a living entity. Lord Krishna says that for every living entity, action is very important, and that is the reason why the sages, the wise men, etc., don't confuse the living entities, but they keep them engaged in action. Because if they talk high funda with the ordinary living entity, the heat will be so much that the living entity, the ordinary living entity, will not be able to withstand it. That is precisely the reason why very evolved sannyasis, rishis, maharishis, etc., who are genuinely self-realized, don't mix often with the multitude. The reason is not that they hate the living entity, but because they themselves realize that the heat and the power in their body due to continuous meditation and thinking of God has become so great, so powerful that the ordinary living entity cannot withstand it. I will give you an example. There is one Maha Avatar Babaji who is an extremely evolved soul. But when he had to teach Kriya Yoga to the ordinary living entities, he did not come on his way and start a school. Instead, he selected another lesser evolved but saintly person called Lahiri Mahashay and advised him, "You are more fit to teach Kriya Yoga to the multitude. Please go to them on my behalf because you are the best bridge between me and the multitude." Lahiri Mahashay learned Kriya Yoga from Mahavatar because he himself was an evolved soul. Once he learned Kriya Yoga from Babaji, this person started spreading the knowledge to the world. Not exactly the world, to the people who knew him in the beginning. And those people, when they learned Kriya Yoga from him, they started their own ashram or school where they trained other deserving candidates, of whom the first crop of deserving candidates was Panchanan Bhattacharya, Sri Yukteswaragiri, etc. And Sri Yukteswaragiri trained Yogananda Paramahansa and Swami Satyananda. Swami Yogananda Paramahansa spread Kriya Yoga to the world. Thus, Babaji achieved his own purpose without meeting the multitude. He could transfer a degree of his own heat to the multitude without hurting them. The Maharshis and the Rishis were extremely self-realized and powerful. Don't meet the multitude because they know that the multitude cannot withstand the heat. That is what Lord Krishna says. The wise and the sane people among the spiritualists keep the multitude engaged in action and make them think that it is this action which is making them earn their living. You must say, from God comes Brahma, from Brahma comes sacrifice, from sacrifice food and rain, from rain comes food, from food comes living entities. That is the line of succession. God comes first. He makes the Brahmic seed and creates Brahma. From Brahma, sacrifice to the demigods come. From sacrifice comes fire, then water, then all those things. From that, this fire, light, etc., provided by the demigods, brings food through agriculture. From agriculture comes living entities, and from living entities again action comes. This is the line of succession. Any break in this or anything which doesn't miss the which does miss this link creates haywire. Anything goes wrong in this line will create problems for all. When the living entities do action, they do this action to sacrifice it to demigods who then give rain, sunshine, etc. to the earth, which grows crops, which gives food, and from the food, again living entities are born who do action, and the cycle goes on. The this thing happens till the living entity becomes self realized, recognizes his or her identity as Brahman, and then ultimately goes back to Godhead. Kindly let me know what you think of my talk on this subject. Yes, there were a few gaps and errors in my talk. It is because I am also in the learning process and I am trying to convey my thoughts as per my own study and meditation. If you sincerely believe that what I am talking makes sense, then kindly subscribe to my channel and press the bell icon so that I can keep informing you about my other videos. Please note that when it comes to knowledge, spiritual knowledge is sublime. We should not waste our time with material knowledge because Sudama, the spiritualist, is supposed to be a better example of knowledge than Acharya Drona, who was an expert in martial arts. Till we meet next time in my next video, it is good day from TSV Raghavan.